All right, Cheesy. Well, we're live again.
Yes, well, good morning.
Good morning, man.
Right in Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
That's right.
And we're still talking about our car businesses and different things and information. We're trying to get you an overload on it.
That's right.
We're going to talk about.
What chapter are we going first?
We're going to do chapter 5. I'm so sorry.
We're still in our book, The Definitive Guide to Buying Your First New Car. We're in chapter 5, Cheesy.
Yes. And where to find accurate information about your new vehicle, which is very important. You want the truth and to find out what is the pros and cons on all the new vehicles.
Definitely. And in this chapter, basically, we're going to go over, there's a lot in this chapter. We only got 30 minutes, but so we're going to go kind of through it. But you can get our book, you can find it online. You find it on this link. And go through the book. There's really good information there for you. And the reason why we're doing it, is to, inform you so you can make an intelligent decision. So that's kind of what we're talking about today. So, I am Aaron Kamadi.
And I'm Cheesy Ryder.
Yeah, we're the Nissan guys. So we hope you enjoy. And if you want to comment below, you want any other content to talk about, please comment below so that way we can give you good information.
Exactly. The information that you want personally.
That's right.
And today we're going to talk a little bit about the performance of the vehicle. Sometimes some people, I remember when I was growing up, anybody had a 4-cylinder, you want no part of it because it wasn't powerful enough to be able to handle. But now with the injectors and everything that we have with the coil packs, with getting all the right fuel, man, they're awesome. The 4-cylinder is good.
Yeah.
So the performance does mean a lot.
Yeah.
Because if you go on the interstate, you want to make sure you got enough power to get going.
Right. But yeah, in that way, if you're passing somebody, you want to make sure, you have the power and, gas mileage is always a big concern, Cheesy, for some people.
And that's, but these 4-cylinders now, they're getting good gas mileage. In these small SUVs, they're getting very good gas mileage.
Right.
35, 36 miles a gallon, which is crazy.
Right.
But they're doing it.
Yep.
But the performance and the people, you always wanted the V8s and all this. Well, the technology is taking care of all that.
That's right.
So.
Yeah, in performance, I've had several customers here recently that, want like the Rogue in a hybrid. And it's really, number one, they're not making them right now in 2020. I looked for one the other day for a customer, but, these cars, can you explain to them kind of what a hybrid is, that has gas motor and, and electric?
It uses the electric first, like in town and things. So you're just using the electric. You can get up to 40, 45 miles per gallon of gas. Depends on how you drive it also. With the hybrids, when you put on the brakes, it's regenerating the battery, which helps charge the battery. And that helps so you don't have to plug it in. You don't have to plug it in at all. It regenerates its own self.
Right.
And then here you have the gas for the power that you need and longevity. So you can have both. And some people like them, some people don't.
And I think a lot of times people are really concerned about the cost of replacement because this customer, what's it cost to replace the battery? What's it cost to replace the starter plug?
Yeah, exactly. And you're talking about big bucks.
Yeah.
Now, engines, they're real small. That engine keeps going, gas. But to buy new batteries for it, you're talking $5,000-$6,000. And these batteries, they're man-made.
Right. So unless you're going to keep it a long time, which everybody knows what happens to batteries if you keep them a long time and don't use them, they go bad. So you got to be careful.
The mileage goes down. It won't stay. It won't stay as charged as long.
Yeah. And then what about the value of the car? What helps that?
Well, mileage. If you ever had any kind of fender benders, but the mileage has a lot to do with it. The year. And each car depreciates different. The value of the vehicle through Kelley Blue Book, or you got the Black Book, you have different areas that can tell you about the values of vehicles.
Right.
But to be able to look at a new car before it's still brand new, but to look down the road to 2 or 3 years what that car is going to be worth is tough. You're going to have to look at the history on the vehicles.
Yeah. So basically, you just need to check on the dealer, and what the invoice price is. You could find on a new car, you could find, the invoice, what the dealer pays for it all the time.
Exactly.
And a lot of people shop that way, and that's okay. If you shop through car places like TrueCar, trying to get basically. They hold the dealer, to the fire, and they're trying to tell the customer that, look, you can buy this car for this price, and kind of gives you an average in your area. So that way, you can make a good decision buying a car, and it's pretty accurate. I've run TrueCar multiple times, and it's real. It saves the customer money.
Yes,
I mean, it really does.
Yeah.
And there's not as much markup in cars anymore. And still, a lot of people have a hard time believing that. But, a lot of places get bonus money and stuff like that in order to, meet certain goals.
Yeah.
There's rewards, but not all the time can we meet those goals. They're sometimes so high. We try to set them high. And these, Nissan, for example, will set the goals high. And sometimes we just can't hit those goals depending on the month and stuff like that.
And depends on what the vehicle is also.
Yeah.
Because the lower end the vehicle is, the less markup there is.
That's right.
And that's hard to say. Some people, well, I'm paying $30,000. Yeah, but then we have a $60,000 vehicle. 30. There's a big difference in that. So.
Yeah, and then when you're buying, we're talking about new cars pretty much now, but when you buy used cars, you have no idea what the dealer paid for. The only thing you can really do is see what people have bought a car on an average, and then that way you could kind of, because we might have to put more money in the car to make the deal work, than what it's worth, and therefore we might be a little bit more expensive than somebody down the road. But one of the things buying from a reputable dealer, and this has a lot to do with value down the road, is with the Carfax, if it's clean, has it had service records and stuff like that. Because the next one we're going to talk about is rated depreciation.
Yes.
And this is where a lot of people get very, very upset. Cars are the most depreciated item out there on the market because there's so many of them. And when rebates and stuff are kicked in on new, it really, doesn't matter if you're driving a Mercedes-Benz, $100,000 Mercedes-Benz, or if you're driving a Yugo. Remember the Yugos?
Oh, I remember Yugos. Yes. But yeah, they're all going to depreciate.
That's right.
And it's got to do with the longevity of vehicles and just different things. And the market puts the prices on them.
They do.
And it's not us, it's not anybody else. It's the market.
Yeah. And it's daily. It's kept up daily.
And people don't understand that. They'll think, well, it was worth this 6 months ago. It should be the same. It's not. The market go up. The market will go down. There's a lot of changes to it. More miles. You can put 100,000. Put 100 miles on a vehicle, and it takes it to a different level.
That's right.
So we just don't know.
And then you need to also know about ratings of the car. You can go to Edmunds and places like that and get it. Be careful on some of those sites. They are sites that make money. Kelley Blue Book, makes money off consumers. So you just have to use your judgment to best get a good deal on a car like that. But check its ratings. Any major flaws that the car might have, you're going to find it online. You can't believe everything you read online.
No, because to be true, it is.
Because somebody might have just gotten totally mad and just had nothing else to do but just go rip dealers. But if you see a pattern, then you need to be concerned about it. And places, kind of like Yelp and places like that, you have to be very careful with that because it's very difficult to even put a rating on there. Number one, number two, people feed off negative, so you just need to be a little careful about that when you're shopping for a car. But know the car's flaws. If it's got transmission issues, if it's known to the engine to blow up at 70,000 miles. No car is perfect. Everything's man-made.
Exactly.
But if you shop and do your homework and you shop and buy from a reputable dealer, you're going to get better taken care of.
Well, and that's what the manufacturers want to take care of their products.
Right.
We know there's been a lot of airbag issues. There's been a lot of things, but a lot of things we can't help. But it just happens. But there are flaws, and like Aaron said, they're man-made, and anything can happen. But look at the customer reviews, and the people will tell you what they think.
Yeah, that's right. And options are, that's something that when you're reading websites, when you're on a dealer's website, for example, if you're on our website, townsendnissan.com, and you noticed, these different options, you go to another manufacturer site, it looks different. Everybody's got their own descriptions and options on the vehicle, and you just need to be careful. Terminology is usually the same,
Pretty close.
but sometimes it can be misleading. So just be careful. And if it's too good to be true, it probably isn't true. So safety information, on the Moroni sticker.
That is, gives us the stars.
That's right.
Side crashes, front crashes, rear crashes. And that's one of the number of things that I really show my customers.
Right.
Because I want them to understand that. We have our kids, the grandkids, very important people to us. They're precious cargo. And that is most thing is safety.
Yeah. And on there's the crash test. If you see one that says it's not rated yet, like on some 2020s, because they're so new, they got about 6-month wait process by the time the car gets manufactured. So the first part of the year, or the first part of that, when that car's been made or changed design, it's not going to have a safety rating on there. It's nothing to be alarmed about, but you can do research usually on the 1 year before if they haven't changed the body style.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's going to tell you. And but the safety features is very important.
Yeah.
And that Nissan is very, very strict on their safety. And I love that about them. They are definitely very protective of their passengers and driver, everything else. And so they're making they're ahead usually of everybody else. They started. So.
That's right. And, next thing we're talking about is car buying websites. There's Edmunds.com, there's Kelley Blue Book, there's Carfax, there's all these different websites. And this is where I think some people could get confused. Really, when you start your process, you don't want to start it out on a dealer's website and submit a lead if you're not ready to buy yet. Because what's going to happen is when you submit that lead, you're going to get a bunch of phone calls.
Yes.
Okay. And you're probably not
emails.
ready. Yeah. You're probably not ready to that point yet. It's a very common mistake that people make in the car buying process, because there's really nothing laid out. That's why we're trying to do that. But what I would do is go to the different manufacturers' websites and just see if you like anything, the safety features, gas mileage, kind of the important stuff.
To you.
Yeah, to you. And you can look into, usually they have a 360 view. You can kind of look around, write down your, top 10 that you think you like, and then just kind of work your way down. But go on the manufacturer sites, go to Edmunds.com, go to Kelley Blue Book first, and look at the ratings and just see, kind of make a list and kind of cross out, ones that don't make your final list, your top 5 or whatever. But most people spend an average, of 13 hours.
That is crazy.
Okay.
That is crazy. But we know people buying shoes online, they'll spend 3 or 4 hours looking for shoes. But yes, people are on the internet and they are looking. And that's what we're trying to help with this, to get that buying experience for them, where it's going to be simple.
Yeah. And dealers know that. Dealers know, it used to be, people, before the internet, people would go to 5 or 6 different dealerships, to, find a car. They do a lot of test drives. They would waste a lot of time on lots. I remember, when I first got married, we go look at, pretty much when they were closed, because we didn't want nobody coming out to us, because we weren't ready to talk to nobody. Because I'm not gonna talk to somebody if I'm not ready or very, very interested in that vehicle. Okay. Now, some people, you might just not know what you want, and you need to go look. That's fine too. We welcome that as car salesmen. But we're here for you, and that's what we're doing here too. And then Consumer Reports is always a good one. There's usually a book that comes out every year. They got a publication that you can read, I'm sure, online. They got Consumer Reports. They'll have the test ratings, the crash tests, and all that stuff.
They keep up on all of it.
They do a very good job at doing all that. But just make your own, opinion. And when you test drive a car, look for, just kind of listen for those that you had researched, and it'll help you when you're making a decision, because you just don't want to jump in a car because everything is going to be brand new.
Exactly. So it's going to impress you. We're hoping at that time, but we also want to lead you where you need to go. In that, so that's we ask a lot of questions about what you're wanting in a vehicle.
Right.
So we can lead that way. Because there's things that we can tell you that you never even thought of.
Right.
And that's what we're trying to do here, trying to get everything in order for you. Then you can make that decision quicker.
Yeah.
And easier.
Yeah. And one thing I want to go back to safety as we finish up here. Intelligent. Nissan has basically a motto. They've labeled their technologies as Nissan Intelligent Mobility.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It all started at a conference room table and chairs. I saw this in an automotive magazine to where they can control the chairs and, basically park stuff, back up. They use that and grown that, into a pretty good business because they care about their customers and they want you to keep coming back to Nissan, for example.
Yeah.
Other people have their own technology too. Honda, Toyota, they all have it. But if you notice on Nissan, that's all they push is safety because that's what's important. When you get in an accident, usually it's going to happen. We hope it don't, but if it does, that with Nissan product, you're going to be safe. I've had people total cars and come in and buy that same exact car because it saved their life.
Yeah, exactly, and they're impressed. We're crunched where it was supposed to. The airbags went off like they were supposed to, and they're just amazed. When we explain that to them, this is what happened.
Yeah.
And so Nissan does that. We got like the back door alert for putting kids in the back seat. I mean, just small things.
Yeah.
But it's a safety feature.
Mm-hmm.
And we got the blind spot warnings. We got lane departure.
Yeah.
We got emergency brake in the front, emergency brake in the back. We've had some good deals in this showroom where you can't back up anymore. It won't let you.
Yeah,
So that's other
stops.
safety features. Exactly. So yes, that is Nissan's. Yes, they love safety.
Yeah, and that's when we basically show a car, that's one of the things that we, especially if you have kids, you need to be aware of the child anchor stuff. Making sure it has the proper for the seat belts and the latches and stuff like that. Most cars, it's a federal regulation anyway. It's not really a lot of people's concerns, but one I want to bring up that I actually learned this the other day on third row vehicles. Okay, usually there's only one child restraint back there in the back, and I didn't know that. Some don't have any, depending on
which one it is.
Yeah, so you need to be very, very aware of that. And nobody really wants to get in a third row anyway and buckle a kid in. It's almost impossible.
Yes.
But if you had a family of 4 and you had a bunch of kids coming in, you have the seats in the front, you can't get to the back. So sometimes it leaves them no choice.
Yeah.
But just make sure that your kids are buckled in correctly. And if you don't know, go by a firehouse. They want you to come by there. They'll show you how to properly put those in. Because I'm telling you, man, when I take some of these out when people trade cars in, I remember jumping in. Hey, yeah, I can help you. And I had a hard time just getting the thing undone. And then let alone putting it back in a car. I'm like, well, wait a minute, I'm not qualified.
I don't put them in because
I'll let you put them in.
Yes, I don't want to be responsible for that baby.
Yeah, because there are different ways now. It's not just putting the seatbelt through and snapping it in. It's got child safety locks and stuff like that. Yeah. So be aware of that stuff. Another thing with Nissan Intelligent Mobility, they have 360 all the way around the car, which is a good thing. It has sensors. If you're backing up and somebody's coming behind you, you don't see them. Maybe it's a dark parking lot. A lot of shopping malls aren't always lit up properly. And then when it rains, you really can't see. And our cars, a lot of them now, the newer ones, will stop if it has that pedestrian detection. And it'll notify you if you're backing out of your driveway because, somebody can always, nobody wants to let you out anymore, so they speed up. And you're backing out, you don't see them. This car, some of the Nissans that are equipped now, not all of them are like that, they'll actually come to a complete stop.
Exactly. And with that feature, I know being in a big parking lot, always, if you're in a car, there's going to be a big 4x4 on each side. You can't see anything.
Yeah.
And that thing, because you're scared to death to back up because somebody's going to take the back end off.
Right.
This is going to stop that.
Yeah.
You go to a ball game, go to any high school game, people are running around and you're trying to park, it's going to give you warning about pedestrians. So that, just small mobility things. That's very important.
Yeah. And then, we have a camera, basically the higher end models. You can get them on an SV now. They actually have technology where you have cameras in the mirrors, cameras in the front and the back, and you got a round view monitor. And so when you're backing up, you can see all the way around you. So everything's kind of in zones. So if somebody walks in that zone, it's going to beep and flash on the screen. So, it's a lot of, backing up with a lot of traffic at different shopping centers. You need that because some people will just get right behind you,
Yes.
and, basically cause an accident. You definitely don't want that. Or if you're riding around college campuses, people text on their phone, just walk right out in front of you.
Yeah, and that's
If you
going to help you.
Yeah, I mean, if you take your eyes off the road 1 second, you can hit somebody on
Exactly.
the campus like that. So very, very important to have those safety features on it and to understand how they work too.
Oh, absolutely. And that's what we try to do is go over when we deliver a car. We talk about it when we're showing the car, just give them a little bit of it. And then we go through video and stuff on our tablets to let them know. And then we go out to the car.
Yeah.
And then it's more hands-on. And we want them to see all that. Well, I was thinking the other day, I had a customer in and they were talking about the 360 camera.
Yeah.
And I was telling them when my daughters were younger, we had to put a tennis ball hang from the ceiling. So it hit the window, so they wouldn't hit the back of my garage. Well, with this 360 camera, you can tell how close you are.
Yeah.
And how close they are to Dad's boat or anything else. So that 360 camera is awesome. Anything under 5 miles an hour, push it, and it'll show you.
Yeah.
So
So just remember when you're buying a car, keep all this stuff in mind. It's more in depth in the book. Check it out. We only got usually about 30 minutes or so talk. We don't want to bore you all to death, but we're just trying to inform you. But when you're buying a car, start looking at consumer reports, find out what's safe, what's not. Work your way down to third party.
yeah, they're not as
sources.
They're not going to go one way. They're going to be very objective on the negatives and the positives, and that's what you're wanting.
And there's a lot of video out there too that you can watch, and you have to form your own opinion. Some people just don't like stuff, just don't like it. Some people just love it because maybe that's all they've owned. But these sites are designed for you, for you. And then that way, when you go to the manufacturer site, then you look around there, you kind of see about what trim level, what engine, what vehicle that you're wanting. And then after you're ready, then go to the dealer site, and then you can put some information in there, and somebody's going to get with you. And really, they're not there just to sell you; they're to help you. I still see myself as a problem solver.
Yeah, and that's what we are, consultants.
Yeah.
When we are trying to help you make the right decision, and we're here to answer all the questions. There's no such thing as a dumb question.
No.
And the reason why we do this every day,
Yeah.
and you folks don't. I mean, you might not buy a car every 5 or 6 years.
Right.
Things change.
A lot changes in just a couple of years, or even a year.
A lot of things has changed. And different manufacturers change. It's just a lot going on. And but we're here to answer any questions. Yeah, like Aaron said, on the end of this, you can go online and send us questions. We're here to help you any way we can.
Yep. And one of the things, here's the big thing. This is why we do it. Number one, we want to inform our consumers who are shopping in the market. Okay. We also want to acquire you as a customer too. If you're looking to buy a car different, okay, have a better experience than anybody else, somebody who's going to look out for you and not ourselves. Okay. That's one of the things that we're not greedy. Okay. Everybody's got a job. You go to a job and you put your time in, you get paid. Same thing with us. We're not crooks by any means. I have to sleep at night. The car business has really changed. Are there some bad people in the car business? Yes. But usually you can pick up on it real quick. The first 20 seconds out on the lot, you can find out if then people are really there for you or not. But, not saying to let your guard down, but, tell the salesperson, if you come see us, tell us what you really want. If it's a price thing, if it's a monthly thing, that's fine too. We can, because we kind of know it in our minds, because we've done it so many deals, okay, that we kind of know where we can put you at, okay, in a car. We're not going to sit there and talk numbers. If somebody talks numbers, if you talk numbers on the lot, all right, you're totally bypassing the whole process, okay?
And there's a process.
It's just like a process. For example, I'm going to break it down in college football terms. Nick Saban has process. Okay, those who are watching are not from Alabama. Okay, and there's plenty. There's a coach somewhere or a teacher somewhere that has a process. Okay, whether you go at work, you have processes. The reason why we work that process so we don't shortcut ourselves and shortcut you. We want to give the most information. We want to talk about things that you want to talk about. If you don't care about safety, it's just you and you don't care, that's fine. We won't talk about it because we know the car is safe anyway, right?
Yep.
So we'll talk about things that are you. But when people go on the lot, a lot of people go on the lot, put their dukes up, and don't want to talk. And maybe it's an intimidating process, but you're there. Let the salesperson help you. If you're being sold, you're going to tell right off the bat that you're being sold. Ask for somebody else. If the salesperson doesn't do their job, just say, hey, you know what? I've done the research. Everything that I'm reading and you're saying is totally opposite. I would just like to talk to somebody else and get somebody else's opinion. That's fine. Because we're not going to probably end up working out a deal anyway with you. But we still want you to have the product. We still care about the store. We still care about, because we know our product's good, not just because we sell it. I know Nissan's a great product. I know there's other manufacturers that are great too. We're all fighting for the same business.
Exactly.
We all are under the same regulations, because the car business at one time was very, very awful. Very awful.
They made it that way, and but it left a lot of bad taste in people's mouths. But in this internet has really changed that.
It has.
Because people are more informed now, more than ever, and so they know a lot about these cars when they get here, which is great.
Yeah.
And we love that. I love it when I have a customer going and looking, because they can answer questions and understand what I'm saying.
Right.
And then it makes the ball game a little bit easier because you understand.
Yep.
Because of the process. But the process has to be done in order. There's a reason for it.
Yeah.
And we're trying to meet the same goal.
Yeah.
Selling you a car and you purchasing a car. So
yeah, and we want not only to sell you something. Okay, we want to help solve a problem that you're having, whether your car's beat up or you had an accident and totaled your car. That's an issue because you got to get to work, you got to get your kids, you got to pick up, got to go to doctor's appointments, all that stuff. So we want to get you back on the road fast, but you also need to know that you're getting a good deal. And if you come and see the Nissan guys, we're going to treat you like family. Okay, we actually want you to be part of the Nissan family. We try to do a lot of things like this. There's not a lot of salespeople, that do this stuff. Okay, they don't care. They want their paycheck and they want to go home, and that's it. Not some people don't want to do this. They're scared of the camera.
Yeah, well,
okay, it's not the best thing to do every time. But we just want to get our name out there, let us know that we care for you. We're not here just for ourselves. Okay, we're here for to help you get into a new vehicle so you can feel confident when you drive off the lot. And then after the lot, I had one of my customers came today, Cheesy, and she texted me on Facebook Messenger. She messaged me, hey, I'm over on my mileage. She's a travel nurse. I need to bring my car in. I got a good lady. I said, just drop the car off to me. I'll get the oil changed. Not a problem. They give me the keys and I took it to service. Okay. I know you do the same thing.
Oh yes. I got no problem with that. And I tell my customers, I want to know when you're here or when you're coming in.
That's right.
Because your family does now. I mean, when you get in the Nissan family, you are in our Nissan family.
Yeah.
I had a customer. It wasn't my customer. It was one of our guys that sells with us. They sold a car, and I thank them people for joining the Nissan family because it does mean a lot.
Yep.
So when they come and buy vehicles from us, that just makes us all happy because we're doing what we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. So if you're out looking for a new vehicle, check out our book. It's the definitive guide to buying your first new car. Or just new car, okay? It has a lot of great information in there. Check it out. You can find it on our Facebook page, Nissan Guys, or Instagram, the Nissan Guys _, or you can find it on YouTube. So there's all places you can download the book. It's free. We just require a couple information. I'm not going to beat you around, with a bunch of junk mail and stuff like that, but you will put in our follow-up system. And then we'll just keep you up to date. Some other things, we got some other great things coming up to kind of help with, keeping your maintenance up on your cars and stuff like that. So that's a new announcement that we're going to do.
Start talking
You know,
about that.
yeah, we'll start talking about that, and we'll pick this up more and more as we go along. But again, my name's Aaron Kamadi,
And I'm Cheesy Rider.
and we're the Nissan guys, and we'll see you soon.
Awesome.